making it more difficult to establish the source and final destination of the money. And now turning to a big story breakdown today. Nigeria's Financial Intelligence Unit has exposed a digital pipeline that is moving funds to armed groups undetected. We see donations solicited abroad on social media being pulled, fragmented through remittance apps and cashed out by money mules inside Nigeria. Now, this revelation is coming 10 months after Nigeria exited the Financial Action Task Force grey list, raising new questions about the country's financial defenses. This breakdown examines how the operation works and why verification is struggling to catch it. Here we go. Terror financing going digital. The NFIU's 2025 report details a 4-stage crowdfunding architecture: solicitation, pooling, fragmentation, and integration. Now, each donation is sized between $50 and $500, and that's below the threshold that triggers automated alerts. Proxy bank accounts and proxy SIM cards, two methods of identity concealment, keep the true owners hidden. Now, let's see the anatomy of this new financial operation. The report identifies a dual threat: a pipeline that pulls, fractures, and integrates foreign funds through 4 stages, and an evasion layer of 2 methods that sever the link between SIM cards, bank verification numbers, and the real people behind them. And now to the next one: solicitation and master pooling. Foreign-based facilitators launch appeals on encrypted platforms framed as humanitarian or educational campaigns. Donations of $50 to $500 flow in from sympathizers abroad and consolidate into a single master account controlled by a senior network member resident outside Nigeria. Now, this is local infiltration and logistical integration happening. From the master hub, as seen here, funds actually drop below the alert threshold before splitting further. International money transfer operators and remittance apps fracture the money into domestic money mules. You have students, small business owners, and even relatives. Now, that money becomes cash, motorcycles, fertilizers, even satellite internet or direct support for field operatives. Now, the verification illusion: 96% of SIM cards are linked to a national identity number, that's your NIN, now representing 153 million SIMs as of September of 2024. But that figure measures registration, not beneficial ownership. A SIM registered to a deceased person can sit inside a compliant statistic while actively funding terrorism. Now, let's look at how this threat is being scaled. Supplementary versus primary revenue. The digital pipeline is not the main funding source. Domestic taxation on artisanal fishermen and livestock owners in the Lake Chad Basin generates an estimated $191 million a year, and that's sustaining about 8,000 to 12,000 fighters. Foreign donations under $500 remain a deliberately modest supplementary channel and not the primary war chest, which actually is that over there. Now, this is a strategic synthesis from registration to verification. Technological reality, regulatory posture, and enforcement mandate now overlap. Closing that gap means verifying active beneficial ownership across borders and moving from single transaction alerts to decentralized pattern recognition. Defeating this pipeline means synchronizing the 2026 NIMC Act prosecutorial powers with the NFIU's international tracing capabilities, treating identity laundering and micro-fragmentation as a single unified threat. That is the way to go. That is the big story breakdown. Let's take this further. We're speaking to global security analyst Dixon Osagie, who is with me here in the studio. Mr. Osagie, good to have you join us tonight.
Also, thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. This is a critical matter. So I'm curious, what do you consider the import of this report by the NFIU?
Oh, very critical, and I think it's a good and welcome development by the NFIU. I think this position from the state that we are ready to deal with this terrorism head on. You know, there are multifaceted approach in which I think as a country we can curtail with the spate of insecurity, terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. So when we have an agency like the NFIU coming to release a report and trying to identifying the root cause of the sponsorship of terrorism or banditry, I think it's a good development, because I see that as a necessary tools for the Nigerian government to invest more in the NFIU and give them more tools and equipment to dig in and as well, you know, bring perpetrators to book.
But let's explore the findings. The report identified movement of money through the accounts of deceased persons. How does this happen? And do you think that banks involved should be exonerated, or should there be punitive measures?
Oh, there should be punitive measures. You know, I always say that crime and punishment come hand in hand, and I think the CBN should hold the Nigerian banking system accountable, because I don't think that it's possible for someone to have such kind of amount, or maybe have a placement layer integration processes, and the bank cannot identify and also detect what that money is meant for. But today, if I want to apply for US visa, no matter the billions in your account, the UK embassy or the embassy will want you to identify or tell them how these funds come about in your account. You know, you must explain. So most times the banking system needs to roll out, you know, detection methodology and as well reporting methodology to ensure that people who roll out money into the banking system, they are able to pass the information to the security agent, you know, to alert them of crime in progress or would-be crime, or perhaps maybe the money is being used for criminal activities, because the banking system has a role to play in the area of terrorism and counter-terrorism. It's not just the military's duty, the police duty, or the NFIU. Everybody needs to come on board. So the banking needs to look at the placement, when people place in money, the layering and the integration is very essential. And for this, I think it's a very good de-resourcing methodology, because we have a very good de-resourcing methodology like this from the NFIU and other security agents and parastatals. I tell you, Nigeria will be heading to a path of victory in the area of counter-terrorism and insurgency.
Okay, so for this now that we're here, how should this be handled, and who should take it from here? Should it be the EFCC which handles financial crimes, or the DSS which handles security matters? Well,
the DSS handles security matters in the area of deterrence and the area of detection as well, because for me, I think the DSS have been doing a lot so well for this great country. Those of us who are in the security and intelligence community, we've seen what they are doing, though they don't make a lot of noise, because they are carrying out a form of sting operations every day and now, and the presidency is aware of that. So the DSS should be involved so that we'll be able to, you know, curtail these guys. Then the prosecution level, I think the EFCC should also be, you know, put on notice in this area, which is very, very essential about today, because if we have them in this area, it's going to create a very good room for, you know, deterrence, and punitive measures should be applied. The reason why people are going away with this is because we don't have an effective punishment measures in our country, and the only reason is because most people goes to court and even pray to go to court about today. So we should have a speedy deterrence measures and punitive measures so that we'll be able to curtail such kind of behavior, and it's going to be a good one for our country.
So do you think we need special courts to handle these matters? I
strongly advocate for special courts, you know, because we have a lot of people that are suffering from retributive justice and restorative justice. So if we have a special court in place, these guys will be able to speed up, you know, most of these criminal activities, because we've seen some cases in court 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and most people believe that justice delayed is justice denied. I, for one, I strongly believe that justice delay is a defeat on our judicial system. Without missing a word, I also appreciate our judiciary for a job well done, but they need to also speed up the case of criminal activities, kidnapping, terrorism, because it would not be nice about today you have someone who commits a crime against the state, and 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years down the line is still awaiting trial. That is a defeat on our judicial system, and that should be checked immediately.
All right, and do you also think that we need to perhaps go a step further with this report to perhaps release and publish the names of persons who are found to be culpable in this whole crime?
Of course, you have to do that because, you know, I also understand that some dead persons are also found on the list. And I lost my mom 2 years ago. The bank is not even aware. So for me, I will also advise the CBN to not put the bank on notice, or advise the bank to carry out a yearly or twice yearly or once in 2 years verification methodology, whereby everyone needs to come to the bank to, you know, verify or proof of life, you know, because most people have passed away 3, 4, 5, 10 years. The bank is not even aware. I tell you that for free. So I think it's a very good one for us to do. And I tell you, we are headed on a path of success from the report from the NFIU. And we congratulate them for that and put every of our security agents on notice that there's more work to do.
Indeed. We must also bear in mind that some of this verification comes with some level of, it could be cumbersome sometimes, but if that's what you think we should do. Global security analyst Dixon Osagie, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
On TVC News.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
When TVC News at 10 returns, President Bola Tinubu condemns mass abduction in Niger State, orders immediate rescue of victims. Stay with us for details of this story and more.